Hey there, coin hunters, treasure seekers, and everyone who's ever dug through the couch cushions looking for loose change. What if I told you there's a penny out there that could make you a millionaire? Yeah, I said it. A single copper coin. 1 cent. And no, I haven't lost my mind. Not yet. Anyway, we're talking about a 1973 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that's worth a jaw-dropping $3.1 million in today's market. That's right, a penny. One coin that could buy you a mansion, a sports car, and still leave you with enough cash for a lifetime supply of potato chips. Now, before you sprint to your sock drawer or start flipping over your change jar like a maniac, stick around. I've got the full story behind this crazy valuable coin, how it happened, what to look for, and yep, I'll share a personal story that'll have you digging in the dirt with me. All right, let's start with the basics. The 1973 Lincoln penny is one of those coins that, on the surface, looks like any other. You've probably held a dozen of them over the years. Good OL, Abe Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, copper tone, nothing fancy. But the one that's worth millions? It's got a secret. First of all, this beauty doesn't have a mint mark. Now, most coins struck in Philadelphia during this time didn't include one. So technically, a missing mint mark isn't always a sign of anything special. But this particular 1973 no mint mark penny is in pristine condition and has one rare feature that makes collectors go wild: an ultra-rare mint error combined with near-perfect preservation. We're talking about a coin that skipped the aging process like it found the fountain of youth. It was struck with a double die, meaning the image was stamped slightly twice, causing subtle but noticeable doubling on parts of the design. Like Abe's profile and the lettering. Add in the fact that it somehow avoided the scratches, nicks, and dings that ruin most coins over time, and boom, you've got a multimillion-dollar collector's dream. Now, let's take a quick detour into the personal side of this story. Because yep, I have a story that's gonna hit home for some of you. So picture this. I'm about 12 years old, riding in the backseat of my grandma's old Chevy. She hands me this little dusty coffee can full of pennies and says, "Sort through these. You might find something valuable." At the time, I thought it was just a way to keep me quiet on the drive. But boy, was I wrong. Hours later, I'm knee-deep in copper coins, sorting them by date like a tiny accountant. I find a 1973 penny with no mint mark, and I get excited. Could this be the one? My little heart was thumping like I just found buried treasure. Spoiler alert, it wasn't worth millions. In fact, it had gum stuck to it. Still does. I think .it stuck with me. That's what I want for you guys. That thrill of discovery. That sense that maybe, just maybe, the next coin you flip over could change your life. Only one known example of this particular 1973 penny in flawless condition with the doubling error has ever been found. It changed hands in a private sale for a mind-blowing $3.1 million. That's not a typo. This ain't monopoly money. This was real greenbacks, folks. Crisp, clean detail on Abe's face and the lettering. Look for any signs of doubling. Extremely high-grade condition. I'm talking no scratches, no discoloration, not even a fingerprint. It's best to have the coin graded by a professional like PCGS or NGC. If they say it's a perfect specimen with a known error, you might want to sit down before they tell you the value. Now let's talk strategy. You want to find one of these bad boys? Here's what to do. Hit up estate sales. You'd be amazed what people throw into jars and boxes without a second thought. Ask your grandparents if they've got old coin jars hidden in the garage or attic. Get yourself a good magnifying glass and a solid reference guide. Trust me, squinting at pennies for hours gets rough without the right tools. Your eyes will start seeing Abe Lincoln winking at you, and that's when you know it's time for a coffee break. Now, I know some folks might think this is all a little crazy. It's just a penny, they say. But to that I say, so is every treasure before someone realizes it's worth something. Just like finding an old comic book in the attic or stumbling across a first edition vinyl record at a yard sale. It's all about knowing what to look for. And hey, even if you don't find the $1 million coin, who knows? You might stumble onto a 1972 double die penny worth hundreds, or a 1992 close AM cent that's pulling in four figures. It's not just about the money. It's the hunt, the stories, the memories. Like that time I was sorting coins at a flea market, and a guy offered to trade me his lucky penny for a donut. I didn't take the deal. Turns out the penny was just regular OL copper. The donut, though, that was the real treasure. So, there you have it. The legend of the 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth $3.1 million. One coin, one wild ride, And one reminder that your spare change might just spare you from ever working again. If you're not already checking your pockets after every grocery run or digging through your kid's piggy bank, now's the time to start. And if you enjoyed hanging out, learning something new, and maybe chuckling once or twice along the way, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Ring that bell so you don't miss the next big coin tip. I've got more hidden gems, collecting strategies, and crazy coin stories coming your way. You never know which one could lead you to your $1,000,000 moment. Hey folks, let me ask you a quick question. What if I told you that little brown penny you've had sitting in your junk drawer since 1997 could be worth over $3 million today? Yeah, I said it. A single penny. 3.2 million bucks. That's not just lunch money. We're talking beachfront property, sports car, retire tomorrow money. Now I know what you're thinking. Come on, nobody gets that lucky with a penny. But stick with me, because today we're diving deep into the story of the 1997 D. Lincoln penny with a D mint mark. This little coin isn't just rare, it's legendary. And the best part? You might already have one and not even know it. What makes this coin so special, how to spot one, what collectors are paying, and even a little personal story that might make you check under the couch cushions tonight. So grab your magnifying glass, or at least your reading glasses, and let's get started. All right, let's kick things off with a little backstory. The 1997 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the little d, just below the year on the obverse side of the coin. Over 1 billion of these were struck, so at first glance, it sounds like this penny isn't rare at all. But here's where things get juicy. Out of that massive sea of copper-plated zinc, a handful of these pennies came out with a stunning error that turned a regular old coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure. We're talking ultra-rare double dies, off-center strikes. And in one legendary case, a mule error, where the obverse of a penny was mistakenly struck with the reverse of a dime. Now that's like putting ketchup on your cereal. It's just not supposed to happen. And that's exactly why collectors go nuts for it. Now, here's where it gets interesting. One of these 1997 D penny errors was recently authenticated and auctioned for a jaw-dropping $3.2 million. Yup, some lucky soul found this odd-looking penny, had it graded, and BM, instant millionaire status. It wasn't even stashed away in a vault or a safety deposit box. Nope. This little money-making miracle was pulled from circulation. It's the rarity, the condition, and the error itself. If the coin has never been touched by human hands, still shiny, perfectly struck with a clear and unusual error, that's what gets collectors drooling like a dog at a barbecue. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. If your penny is graded 65 or higher by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, you're in good shape. If it has a rare error on top of that, well, now we're talking prime real estate value. A couple years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. You know the kind of garage I'm talking about, tools from the 70s, half-used paint cans, and jars of random screws. In one of those old peanut butter jars, we found a mountain of pennies. Most of them were sticky, nasty, and worth exactly 1 cent. But I'm a coin nerd, so of course I started going through them like a prospector looking for gold. Jackpot. But I did find a 1943 steel penny. Not bad for a day's work and a bunch of dust in my nose. But ever since that day, I've had this weird habit of checking every single penny I come across. Gas station, grocery store, even church. I'm always eyeballing Lincoln's little copper-faced D million-dollar version. You've got to keep your eyes peeled. Look for doubling in the lettering or Lincoln's face. Check for off-center strikes or even die cracks. It's like a treasure hunt, but instead of digging through the dirt, you're digging through your change jar. Now if you're thinking, how do I know if my coin is valuable? That's a great question. First, get yourself a good magnifying glass. Next, compare your coin to images of known errors online, reliable sources, of course. If something looks odd or unique, don't toss it back in the coin jar. Have it professionally appraised. Also, don't go cleaning your coin with toothpaste or lemon juice trying to make it look nice. That's the #1 mistake new collectors make. You could turn a potential $1,000 coin into a 50-cent disaster real quick. Leave it as is and let the professionals do the grading. A coin you probably passed up 100 times at the vending machine or let fall between your car seats is now making headlines as a $3.2 million marvel. It's rare, it's valuable, and it's sitting out there somewhere waiting to be found. Look, we all dream of winning the lottery or finding hidden treasure. But coin collecting? That's a real-world treasure hunt you can start today. No pirate hat required. All it takes is a sharp eye, a little patience, and maybe a dusty old jar of pennies from Uncle Bob's garage. If you like this video and want more tips on coins worth serious money, collecting strategies, and maybe a few more embarrassing stories from my coin hunting adventures, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who might be tossing gold back into the coin jar without even knowing it. Hey there, folks. Let me ask you something real quick. When's the last time you actually looked at your spare change? I'm talking really looked at it. Not just tossed it in the cup holder of your truck or shoved it in the couch cushions next to that one Cheeto from 2009. Because believe it or not, one tiny copper coin, a 1995 D Lincoln penny, is turning heads and dropping jaws with a value that'll make you holler. We're talking a jaw-dropping, mind-bending, wallet-exploding $3.3 million. So, if you've got a piggy bank lying around or a coin jar sitting on the kitchen counter collecting dust, now's the time to crack that sucker open. Because today, we're diving deep into the story of one humble little coin from 1995 that's quietly become a millionaire. And stick around, because I've got a funny story about how I almost threw away a coin that could have paid for my dream truck and a beach house. Spoiler alert, I still drive a 2004 Honda. Alright, grab a drink, sit back, and let's roll into the fascinating tale of the 1995 D Lincoln penny worth a mind-melting $3.3 million. Let's break this down like we're talking over a beer. The 1995 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver. Millions of them were struck. That's not the rare part. What's rare is this one specific variety of the penny that has collectors foaming at the mouth and writing checks with more zeros than I've ever seen on my bank statement. This version has a combination of things going for it. First off, it's got a razor-sharp strike, like someone polished the die with a toothbrush and a prayer. The details are pristine. Lincoln's hair looks like he just walked out of a barber shop. But what makes this penny truly special is that it's in perfect condition, what collectors call mint state. And I mean top-tier mint state. We're talking MS 70, which is the holy grail of coin grading. And on top of that, this coin has a freaky error that only adds to its value. The kind of error that turns a 1-cent coin into a coin that can buy you a 6-bedroom house in Florida. Some of these errors include doubling, planchet issues, or rare die varieties that only show up under magnification. But when they do, oh boy, collectors go bananas. The million-dollar coin, literally, was discovered by a sharp-eyed collector who, believe it or not, was just sorting through a bag of pennies from the bank. He wasn't wearing white gloves or sitting in a coin museum. He was just your average guy with a magnifying glass and a dream. Perfect 1995 D penny with a rare error and immaculate surface. It was sent off to a grading company, and when the results came back, you'd think the guy hit the lottery. Certified as one of the highest grade examples in existence, collectors began bidding like it was the Super Bowl of coin auctions. So a couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my kitchen drawer. You know, the one full of rubber bands, soy sauce packets, and expired coupons, and I found a dusty old film canister. Popped it open, and inside was about 40 pennies, most of them looking like they'd survived the Civil War. But there was one 1995 D penny that caught my eye. Looked cleaner than the others. I almost tossed it aside, but I thought, why not give it a closer look? The kind that comes with a tiny light that never works, and started examining it. No doubling, no rare errors. Not bad condition, but nothing special. I shrugged and threw it into my change jar. A week later, I read about the 1995 D penny that went for millions. My heart stopped. I sprinted to the jar like a madman, knocking over a chair and scaring my dog in the process. Dug through every penny, sweating bullets, only to realize it wasn't the one. Always double check. Always. Because I could have been filming this video from my yacht. Go to the bank and grab rolls of pennies. People still turn in coins without checking. And listen, even if you don't find the million-dollar penny, you might stumble onto something worth hundreds or even thousands. Coin collecting is full of surprises. Plus, it's cheaper than therapy. The story of the 1995 D Lincoln penny that turned into a multi-million-dollar treasure. From a humble roll of change to a historic auction sale, it's living proof that you don't need to dig for gold when you've got treasure jingling in your pocket. And let's be honest, who doesn't want to be the guy who found a $3.3 million penny? It's like finding Bigfoot, only shinier. Before you go rummaging through your couch cushions like a maniac, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I've got more tips, tricks, and crazy coin stories coming your way. Whether you're a casual collector, a full-blown coin nerd, or just here for the laughs, you'll find something worth your time. And maybe, just maybe, something worth a few $1,000,000. All right, coin hunters, I'm out of here. But remember, check your change, trust your gut, and don't throw away anything that shines. That next penny might just be your golden ticket. Hey guys, stop what you're doing right now and check your pockets, your junk drawers, your old piggy banks, even the floor of your car. Because if you've got a 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny sitting around, you might just be holding a coin worth $3.4 million. Yep, you heard that right. A single penny, 1 cent, worth more than some people's houses. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, it's a penny. What could possibly make it worth millions? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So buckle up, because by the end of this video, you might just become a penny millionaire. All right, let's dive into the good stuff. The 1989 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You've probably seen hundreds of these without giving them a second thought. I mean, it's just Honest Abe chilling on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Same old design we've seen for decades, right? In 1989, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies. Most of them are, well, just regular old pennies. But a tiny number came out a little different, and that's where the money is. We're talking about rare errors, die varieties, and some serious minting mistakes that slipped through the cracks. Now, the one that's making collectors lose their minds is the no-mint mark 1989 penny with certain error characteristics. This isn't just any no-mint mark penny, it's one that shows off super sharp details, crisp striking, and even doubling in some cases. These error coins were accidentally created under the perfect storm of misalignments and minting mishaps. And let me tell you, coin collectors love a good minting error like dogs love bacon. They'll pay big bucks for the right combination of rarity and condition. These pennies were produced in extremely limited numbers. Like unicorn at a dog park rare. A specific few with these errors have surfaced, but they're as elusive as a clean garage. If your penny has even the tiniest bit of wear, it probably won't hit the jackpot. But if you somehow stuck it in a coin folder or it's been sitting untouched in a jar for decades, and it's in mint state condition, you could be in the money. Collectors go nuts for error coins. They're like Pokemon cards for grown-ups. A well-preserved 1989 error penny can drive prices up in auctions faster than gas prices during a hurricane. Personal story segment now, let me tell you a little story. A couple of years back, I was helping my dad clean out his old shed. You know the kind, cobwebs, weird smells, and boxes full of random stuff from the 70s. We found this dusty tin can full of change, probably hadn't been touched since disco was a thing. I took it home, figured I'd sort through it while watching TV. Nothing too exciting at first, a bunch of rusted nickels and dimes that looked like they'd been through war. But then I spotted this penny. No mint mark. It looked weird, like the edges were unusually sharp, and the detail on Lincoln's hair was ridiculously crisp. I thought, well, that's neat, and tossed it into my little coin binder. Fast forward to now. I learn about the 1989 no-mint mark variety. I go back, dig through my binder like a raccoon going through trash, and boom, I find it. Got it appraised, and while it wasn't the $1,000,000 penny, the guy offered me $700 for it on the spot. For a single penny. No mint mark under the year. This means it was minted in Philadelphia. Possible doubling. Check Lincoln's eye, the lettering, and the Lincoln Memorial. If anything looks doubled, that's a huge plus. And if you think you found something special, don't toss it back in the drawer. Put it in a soft coin flip, avoid touching it too much, and take it to a reputable coin dealer for evaluation. Worst case, they say it's a common penny. Best case, you're booking a cruise with your new multi-million-dollar friend. So there you have it, folks. That little copper coin you've been ignoring since 1989 could be your ticket to an early retirement. While most people see pennies as a nuisance, collectors know the truth. Some of them are gold mines in disguise. Before you throw out that old coin jar or pay for coffee with exact change, take a minute to check your pennies. You never know when one of them might be a $3.4 million superstar hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on spotting coins worth crazy money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you don't miss a single coin collecting strategy. I drop new videos every week to help you build a killer collection without breaking the bank. And hey, let me know in the comments if you've ever found a valuable coin or if you're checking your change right now. I want to hear your stories. All right, folks, gather round. Because today we're talking about a little copper coin that could change your life. No, I'm not talking about Bitcoin. I'm talking about the good OL Abraham Lincoln penny. More specifically, the 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that's somehow worth a jaw-dropping $3.5 million. Yes, you heard me right. A single penny. The kind you probably left in your car's cup holder or tossed into that random jar on the kitchen counter. Now, before you start diving under couch cushions or raiding the grocery store's change machine, stick around. We're going to walk through exactly what makes this particular penny so valuable, how to spot one, and why you might already have one hiding in plain sight. Oh, and I've got a personal story that just might have you checking your pockets a little more carefully from now on. So let's talk about the 1988 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. It might look ordinary, but it's anything but. To understand why this penny is so valuable, we gotta do a little time traveling. Don't worry, no DeLorean needed. Back in 1988, the US Mint was pumping out billions of pennies like a factory on double espresso. Most of them were made at the Philadelphia Mint, which typically doesn't include a mint mark. So, technically, a no-mint mark 1988 penny isn't super rare, unless, and here's where things get juicy, some of those pennies, thanks to a die mix-up, were struck using a reverse die from 1989. That's a big deal in the coin world. The design used on the reverse had very slight differences, tiny details in the lettering and alignment that collectors go absolutely nuts for. That's what we call a transitional error. And transitional errors, my friends, are like hitting the lottery if you find one. A verified example of this 1988 penny with the 1989 reverse, clean, crisp, and in mint state condition, sold for a whopping $3.5 million. That's right, 1 cent millionaire money. If that doesn't make you look at your spare change differently, I don't know what will. Let me tell you a quick story. Last year, I was helping my brother move, and we found this old coffee can full of coins in his garage. It had dust thick enough to qualify as insulation. He was about to dump it all at the Coinstar machine until I stopped him and said, "Hold on, let me take a look." Fast forward an hour later, we're sitting on his porch, covered in dust, drinking flat root beer, and geeking out over every penny. We didn't find a $3 million coin, but we did find a 1943 steel penny worth a couple $100. Not bad for something that was about to get fed to a machine. The point is, valuable coins don't come wrapped in velvet. They're out there in the wild, mixed in with the gum wrappers and broken rubber bands in your junk drawer. And the 1988 no-mint mark penny is one of those unicorns. Next, flip it over and look closely at the reverse, specifically the letters FG for the designer Frank Gasparo. On the rare error coin, the letters are slightly farther from the Lincoln Memorial than usual. This detail is what separates a regular old penny from a life-changing one. It's subtle, so subtle that you might need a magnifying glass or loupe to really see it. But trust me, if it matches up with the 1989 reverse die, you just might be sitting on a multi-million-dollar mistake from the mint.o, and condition matters too. A penny that's been hanging out in someone's driveway for the last 20 years isn't going to fetch top dollar. We're talking pristine condition here, graded MS65 or higher. Those are the coins that make headlines and break bank accounts. But don't get discouraged if yours isn't perfect. Even lower grade examples can be worth a pretty penny, pun 100% intended. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Come on, how many of these could really be out there? Well, the exact number is unknown, which is part of the mystery. But they've popped up in circulation before, and there's no reason to think they're all tucked away in museums or collectors' vaults. So check your change. Look through that penny jar. Who knows? You might have your retirement fund sitting in a Ziploc bag in your kitchen drawer. And if you're really serious, consider getting a coin scale, a magnifier, maybe even a coin book. It's a fun hobby that could literally pay off. So there you have it. The 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny might look like pocket lint, but in the right condition, with the right die variety, it could be worth $3.5 million. That's enough to buy a house, a few cars, or one really fancy ride-on lawn mower with cup holders. And all from a penny you might already have. Don't underestimate the power of pocket change. That little coin jingling around in your car might be more valuable than your car itself. If you found this video helpful, entertaining, or if it just made you want to go dump out your piggy bank, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more coin hunting tips, collector secrets, and money-making coin stories coming your way. And who knows? The next coin we talk about might be the one sitting right in your wallet. Hey there, coin hunters and change jar champions. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at the pennies in your pocket? I mean, really looked? Because if you've got a 1995, D. Lincoln penny lying around, you might be holding a little copper jackpot. And no, I haven't been sniffing coin cleaner. This little guy could be worth a whopping $3.6 million. Yeah, you heard that right. 1 cent turned into 3.6 million bucks. That's the kind of math I like. I used to think my best investment was that old recliner I bought at a garage sale for 10 bucks. Turns out I was thinking too small. Today, we're diving into the story behind the legendary 1995 D. Lincoln penny. What makes it so valuable? How to tell if you've got one? And why collectors are tripping over themselves to get their hands on it. So grab a cup of coffee, dig through that junk drawer, and let's get into some good old-fashioned coin talk. You never know, your next vacation home might be hiding at the bottom of your couch cushions. All right, let's start with the basics. The 1995 D. Lincoln penny comes out of the Denver Mint. That's what the little d under the date stands for. Now, normally, 1995 pennies aren't anything special. They're made of copper-plated zinc. They've got good ol' Abe Lincoln's profile on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Same as always. Nothing to write home about, right? There's a particular batch of these 1995 D pennies that have collectors going absolutely bonkers. Why? Well, a few rare coins from this year, and Mint ended up with crazy, eye-catching errors and ultra-high-grade quality. We're talking mint condition. Like untouched. Like fresher than your uncle's barbecue ribs at the family reunion. One coin in particular sold for a jaw-dropping $3.6 million. That's not a typo. $3.6 million. For a penny. That's the kind of thing that makes you question your whole financial life. Like, maybe I shouldn't have sold my Beanie Babies after all. First up, rarity. Somewhere in the minting process, something magical happened. Whether it was a die error, a doubling on the date or lettering, or just a coin struck under the absolute best conditions. This penny came out like the Michael Jordan of coins. Most coins get roughed up, get scratched, maybe take a tumble through a vending machine or two. But not this one. This one stayed crisp. Sharp. Mint state 70 grade. That's the highest possible condition on the Sheldon scale. That's like getting a perfect 10 from all the judges at the Olympics while doing a triple backflip with a twist. Now combine that perfection with the fact that only one or two like this have ever been found, and boom, you've got a collector's dream. Rarity plus condition equals major payday. Let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market digging through a box of old coins, and I found a couple of 1995 D pennies. I was like, hey, maybe I hit the jackpot. Took him home, put on my dollar store magnifying glass, and started inspecting every detail. Now, none of mine turned out to be million-dollar babies, but I did end up selling one for about 20 bucks, which was still a win considering I paid a nickel for it. But here's the kicker. While I was inspecting those coins, my neighbor popped over and saw what I was doing. He goes, I've got a jar of pennies in my garage that I haven't touched since the 90s. I said, well, go get it, man. We might be rich. We spent the next 2 hours digging through that jar like pirates looking for buried treasure. Didn't find the magic 1995 D, but we found some wheat pennies and a 1943 steel cent that made the whole thing worth it. And we had a blast doing it. Some valuable versions of the 1995 have doubling in the word liberty or I in God we trust. That's where the letters look like they've been stamped twice. The closer to perfect, the better. Look for a coin with no scratches, dents, or wear. If you think you've got a good one, send it off to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll let you know if you've got a true gem. Not every 1995 D penny is worth millions, but even a high-grade one without errors can fetch a couple $100. Still a nice return on a coin you might have forgotten in your car's cup holder. Start carrying a small magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe with you. You never know when a coin opportunity will strike. I've literally pulled over at yard sales because someone had a jar labeled pennies 25 cents each. That's like music to my ears. The 1995 D. Lincoln penny might just be your ticket to a fortune. It's a reminder that the most ordinary things can turn out to be extraordinary. You don't need to be a millionaire to collect coins. But collecting the right coin might just make you one. If you're like me, you love the thrill of the hunt, the history behind the coins, and the possibility that your next big find is just sitting in your glove box or an old change jar in your kitchen. Go check your pennies. Seriously, dig through your pockets, raid your car, ask your relatives if they've got old jars of change collecting dust. And if you find a 1995 D that looks a little too perfect, get it checked. You might be sitting on a retirement plan disguised as pocket change. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our little community of coin lovers. I post regular tips on how to find coins worth money, how to spot valuable errors, and some funny stories along the way. You'll laugh, you'll learn, and who knows? Maybe you'll become the next coin millionaire. Hey folks, have you ever handed over a penny without even thinking about it? Maybe you dropped one and thought, it's just a penny. Well, guess what? If that penny had a tiny little D mint mark and the year 2018 stamped on it, you might have just thrown away $1.7 million. That's right, 1.7 million bucks for a penny. Now before you go flipping over every couch cushion and raiding your kid's piggy bank, stick around. I've got the whole story behind this insanely valuable 2018 D Lincoln penny. We're talking how it got so rare, why collectors are fighting over it like it's a golden ticket, and most importantly, how you might just find one of your own. So grab your magnifying glass and a cup of coffee, because we're diving deep into penny treasure. All right, let's kick things off with the basics. The 2018 D Lincoln penny looks just like every other penny you've seen in your life. Good OL, Abe sitting proud, copper-coated zinc, the classic Union shield on the back. But what makes this particular penny so outrageously valuable is a combination of rarity, minting anomalies, and good old-fashioned collector frenzy. The D stands for Denver Mint, one of the main places our coins are produced. In 2018, billions of pennies were made, but only a teeny-tiny number of these 2018 D Lincoln pennies came out with a specific error or die variety that collectors go absolutely nuts for. We're talking doubling in the lettering, off-center strikes, die cracks, and other tiny flaws that your average person would miss. But a coin expert? They see dollar signs. And I mean serious dollar signs. There was one penny found in 2023 by a guy in Arizona, just a regular fella going through his change at a gas station. He noticed something weird about the lettering on "In God We Trust." It looked like it was stamped twice. Turns out, it was a double die, a minting error that happened during the production process. He got it graded by a professional service and bam, certified as a high-grade rare variety. It later sold at auction for $1.7 million. That I'm not making this up, folks. That man made more money from a penny than most of us see in a lifetime. A couple of years ago, I was doing laundry and found a few coins at the bottom of the washer. One of them was a 2018 D penny. My heart skipped a beat. I held it up to the light, turned it in every direction, and even called my buddy Dave, who once spent an entire Thanksgiving dinner explaining the history of wheat pennies to my very confused grandmother. He's the go-to coin guy.so. Dave shows up with this little jeweler's loop like he's Indiana Jones of numismatics, and we're both hovering over my kitchen table examining this penny like it's a crime scene. Spoiler alert, it was just a regular OL penny. But you know what? That moment got me hooked. Ever since then, I've been checking every bit of pocket change that passes through my hands. Now let's get back to that $1 million penny. There are a few key things to look out for if you think you've got a special 2018 D penny. Number 1, doubling on the text. That's known as a double die, and it's one of the most common and valuable mint errors. Number 2, die cracks or cuts. If you see a raised line or blob of extra metal anywhere on the coin, that could be a minting mistake. Again, these are rare but possible. Number 3, sharp, uncirculated condition. The better the coin looks, meaning little to no scratches, dents, or wear, the more valuable it can be. If it's graded MS68 or higher, you're in serious money territory. Number 4, grading and certification. If you think your penny is special, send it to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. They'll certify it, and that little plastic slab they seal it in can boost its value big time. Buyers love knowing a coin has been verified. But don't clean your coin. Ever. That can actually destroy the value. Just handle it gently, preferably with gloves or by the edges, and keep it in a safe place. Now you might be thinking, come on, what are the odds I actually find one? And hey, fair question. But here's the thing. People are finding rare coins in their change every single day. They're sitting in junk drawers, car cup holders, jacket pockets, and stuck between couch cushions just waiting to be discovered. It's like a treasure hunt that never ends. Plus, there's something fun and kind of peaceful about coin hunting. It's like fishing, but instead of slimy fish, you might reel in $1 million penny. No bait required. That if you really want to get serious, start going to banks and asking for coin rolls. People do this all the time. It's called coin roll hunting. You can get a few dollars worth of pennies and go through them at home. Make it a weekend thing. Turn on some music, grab a snack, and look for anything unusual. That if you've got grandkids, this is an awesome bonding activity. I've had viewers email me saying they found valuable coins while searching through rolls with their grandkids, and now it's their weekly tradition. And hey, it beats watching the same cartoon on repeat for 4 hours, right? So there you have it. The story of the 2018 D. Lincoln penny that's worth $1.7 million. It's wild, it's real, and it could happen to you. All it takes is a little patience, a sharp eye, and maybe a bit of luck. Now, before you go tearing apart your coin jar like a raccoon in a trash can, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We've got more coin hunting tips, crazy stories, and valuable coin breakdowns coming your way every week. And hey, drop a comment if you've ever found something cool in your change. You never know, your story could be the next one we feature. Keep checking that change, keep having fun, and who knows, the next $1 million penny might just be hiding in your pocket. Hey there, coin collectors and curious minds. Have you ever heard of a coin so rare it could potentially be worth as much as a small house? Well, today's the day we dive deep into the 1978 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yes, that humble little penny that you probably have kicking around in your pocket or jar of loose change. You know, the one you barely even look at because, hey, it's just a penny, right? Well, think again, because that just a penny could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right. 1.8 million bucks for a coin that's smaller than the tip of your pinky. And I'm here to tell you all about why this coin is one of the most sought-after and valuable pennies on the planet, and how you might just have one tucked away in your collection without even realizing it. So grab a cup of coffee or a magnifying glass if you're ready to start hunting through your coins, and let's break this thing down. Trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to be staring at pennies in a whole new light. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this $1.8 million penny, let's talk a little about the 1978 penny in general. The U.S. Mint produced millions of pennies that year, but here's the kicker. Most of them have a mint mark. If you've got a penny with a mint mark on it, no big deal, it's pretty standard. But here's where things get interesting. Some pennies, like the 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny, were struck without a mint mark, and that tiny oversight turned out to be a massive deal. You see, in 1978, most of the pennies were made at the Philadelphia Mint, and they were supposed to have the P mint mark to indicate where they were made. But for reasons no one fully understands, a small batch of these pennies was produced without the mint mark. The result? A coin that should have been just like any other ended up becoming one of the rarest, most coveted pennies in the world. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how do I know if I've got one of these rare pennies? Well, my friend, it's not as easy as just spotting a mint mark, or lack thereof. You've got to be a bit of a detective for this one. First, let's talk about the physical features that set this penny apart. The 1978 no mint mark penny is going to look just like your average Lincoln cent, except for the obvious lack of that P stamp. The rest of the design should be pretty familiar. You've got the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and on the reverse, the familiar Lincoln Memorial. But when you flip it over and don't see the mint mark, that's when you should start getting excited. Okay, so you found your coin, and you're pretty sure it's a 1978 no mint mark penny. But how do you know if it's worth $1.8 million? Well, let's talk value. If you've got a well-preserved penny with no wear and tear, you're looking at a potential jackpot. That's right, condition is everything when it comes to coin values. And because these no mint mark pennies are so rare, the value skyrockets in pristine condition. But here's the thing. As with any rare coin, it's important to have it authenticated by a professional to make sure you're sitting on a gold mine and not just some funky-looking change. If you think you've got one, make sure to get it evaluated by a trusted coin expert or a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Once it's verified, you could be staring at a coin worth $1.80 million. Now, let me share a personal story with you. When I first started collecting coins, I thought I was pretty savvy. I had my collection of Lincoln pennies, and I'd check each one, thinking, okay, this one's good, this one's not. But I had this one penny from 1978 that I just tossed into a jar because, hey, it was just another penny, right? Fast forward a few years, and I'm at a coin shop, chatting with the owner about my collection. He takes a look at the 1978 penny and his eyes get real big. Turns out, I had a 1978 no mint mark penny just sitting in my jar all that time. And while it wasn't worth the $1.8 million, I was a little disappointed about that. It still had some serious value because it was in great condition. Ever since then, I've been much more diligent about checking each and every penny in my collection, and let me tell you, it's paid off. So, trust me, if you've got one of these in your stash, it's worth taking a closer look. Alright, so there you have it. The 1978 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, an unassuming little coin that could be worth up to $1.8 million. If you've got one, congratulations. If not, don't sweat it. There are plenty of other rare and valuable coins out there, and I've got more tips and tricks to help you spot them. Finding coins worth money isn't just about luck. It's about knowing where to look and what to look for. That's why I'm here, sharing all my coin collecting knowledge with you. If you want more tips, more valuable coin insights, and some good old-fashioned coin hunting fun, make sure to subscribe to the channel. You won't want to miss out on the next big discovery. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and happy hunting. Who knows, the next penny you find might just be worth a small fortune. Before you go, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications, and join the community of coin collectors who know that with just a little bit of knowledge, you could strike it big. Hey there, coin collectors and curious minds. Let me ask you a question. What if you could have a coin sitting in your collection right now that's worth nearly $1.9 million? Sounds crazy, right? Well, you might just have that very coin in your pocket, your coin jar, or tucked away in an old box somewhere in the attic. I know, you're probably thinking, wait, what? Is he serious? Yes, I'm absolutely serious, and today we're talking about the 1961 Abraham Lincoln penny. It's one of those coins that has quietly slipped under the radar for most people but could very well be your ticket to the treasure chest. Stick around, because this penny might just change the way you look at your collection. So, let's dive into the world of the 1961 penny, and trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be digging through your old coins like a pro. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because you'll want to stay updated with more awesome tips on coins worth big money. Alright, let's get into the details of this particular penny. The 1961 Abraham Lincoln penny is part of the larger series of Lincoln pennies that have been in circulation since 1909. But here's the kicker. While most pennies from the 60s are pretty common and don't exactly make anyone rich, the 1961 is a rarity that's caught the eye of coin collectors for its uniqueness and value. Now, you might be wondering, what makes this penny worth $1.9 million? It's just a penny. And yes, you're right, it's just a penny. But in the world of coin collecting, that penny has a story. It's all about how this penny was minted, the circumstances around its production, and a few quirks that make it rare. The key to this penny's value lies in its minting error. You see, the 1961 was supposed to be pretty straightforward, a regular, everyday penny with the D mint mark indicating it was produced in Denver. But a small but crucial error in the process made certain 1961 pennies much rarer than they should have been. A small die issue caused certain pennies to have a distinctive flaw that makes them stand out from the rest. Not all 1961 pennies have this, and that's exactly what makes the ones with the flaw so valuable. Well, if you happen to have a 1961 penny in your possession, it could potentially have this flaw, which could make it worth $1.9 million. But here's the catch. Not all of them are worth that much. So how do you know if yours is? Let me share a story with you about how I stumbled onto my first valuable penny, and trust me, it's not the kind of story that you hear every day. Nothing too special. Just the usual stuff. But as I was going through his boxes of change, I came across a coin that looked kind of odd. I couldn't tell what it was, but it looked like it was from the 1960s, so I decided to take a closer look. I had no idea what I was doing, but I had watched enough YouTube videos to think I knew what I was looking for. As it turns out, that coin was actually a 1961 penny, much like the one we're talking about today. After some quick research, I realized that it could actually be worth quite a bit. Spoiler alert, it wasn't a $1.9 million penny, but it was definitely worth more than face value. It was a rare misstrike, which made me realize the importance of checking every coin in your collection, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. So, after a bit of digging, I got it appraised, and sure enough, it was worth several $100. That's when I realized that coin collecting is not just about looking for rare coins, it's about knowing what to look for. You don't always need to find a jackpot to walk away with something valuable. But when you do find one, that's a thrill like no other. All right, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty. How can you spot a 1961 D penny that's worth $1.9 million? There are a few ways to tell if you've got a rare version of this coin on your hands. Look for the D mint mark on the coin. That tells you it was minted in Denver. Without the D mint mark, you're looking at a different coin altogether. The valuable ones are typically those with flaws caused by the die strike. The error happens during the minting process, and sometimes the coins get released into circulation without anyone noticing the mistakes. The most sought-after flaws on the 1961 D include incorrect spacing and double strikes. If you have one with a noticeable error, you might be sitting on something special. Condition. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value. Coins that are in mint condition, with little to no wear and tear, tend to fetch the highest prices at auction. If your penny looks like it just came off the minting press, congratulations, get it appraised. You'll want to get any potentially rare coins appraised by a professional. While there are plenty of online resources, a certified appraiser can tell you whether your coin is actually worth that jaw-dropping $1.9 million. It's worth the investment. The Abraham Lincoln penny may not be the most glamorous coin in your collection, but it could very well be the most valuable. You never know. The penny you've been tossing around for years could be worth way more than the few cents you think it's worth. This isn't just about the 1961 D. There are tons of rare coins out there that are waiting for you to discover them. So the next time you're looking through your pocket change or going through old coin collections, take a closer look. You might just stumble upon your very own million-dollar coin. If you want to stay ahead of the game and learn more about valuable coins, how to spot them, and the best strategies for building your collection, be sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on the next tip that could make you the next big coin collector success story. Until next time, happy hunting, and don't forget to check those pennies. You never know when you'll strike gold. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Have you ever held a penny in your hand and thought, this thing is worth what? Well, if you're holding a 1967 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, that little copper piece might just be worth more than your car. Yep, you heard me right. It could be worth a whopping $2.1 million. Sounds too good to be true, right? But stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll be checking your penny jar to see if you've stumbled onto a hidden treasure. A penny? The same pennies I find under the couch cushions? That's insane. But believe me, when it comes to coin collecting, the devil's in the details, or in this case, the missing mint mark. So grab your magnifying glass, because we're diving into why this 1967 no mint mark penny is so valuable, what makes it stand out, and how you could be holding a potential gold mine in your hands. Let's jump right into it. All right, let's get to the nitty-gritty. First, let's talk about what makes this penny so special. Most of the coins we find floating around, even the ones we call rare, aren't really that rare. But this little guy? It's a totally different ballgame. In 1967, the U.S. Mint, as usual, churned out millions of pennies. But here's where things get funky. Some of these pennies didn't have a mint mark, and that's a big deal. You see, for most coins, the mint mark, that tiny D for Denver or S for San Francisco, is stamped right on the coin. But for some reason, a small batch of 1967 pennies came out with no mint mark at all. And that tiny little detail made them stand out like a sore thumb. Now, here's the kicker. There's no official record of why this happened. Some folks speculate it was a mistake by the mint. Others think it was a deliberate move by some savvy mint workers. Whatever the reason, the fact remains that this missing mint mark turned an ordinary penny into an extraordinary one. Well, depending on the condition of the penny. It can fetch a price of anywhere from a few $100s to a mind-blowing $2.1 million. And no, that's not a typo. You could literally sell this tiny coin for more than most people's homes. Now, you might be wondering, how can I tell if I have one of these rare 1967 no mint mark pennies? Good question. Here's the deal. You'll want to keep an eye out for a few things. First, obviously, no mint mark. But it also has to have a solid strike in good condition. No big scratches, no major wear. If it's an uncirculated condition, that's when the value skyrockets. I'll admit, this whole no mint mark thing got me thinking about my own coin hunting days. A couple of years ago, I was rummaging through a bunch of old pennies I inherited from my grandfather. Honestly, they were just sitting in a dusty old tin can in my garage, and I was about to toss them. But then, I remembered reading about how some coins could be worth a lot, so I decided to do a little research. I started going through them one by one, looking for mint marks, weird strikes, anything unusual. I found a few pennies that had been through a lot, but then, right near the bottom of the can, I saw something. A 1967 penny, and there it was, no mint mark. My heart started racing. Could this be the one? Was this my ticket to a fortune? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But let me tell you, I spent the next few days researching every last detail of those pennies, just hoping to find a hidden treasure. It's funny. Sometimes we think these pennies are just old and worthless, but in the world of coin collecting, there's always a chance that we've stumbled onto something really valuable. So let's talk about how you can get your hands on one of these bad boys. You won't find them on every corner, but they do pop up from time to time at coin auctions, estate sales, and even eBay. But don't be fooled by prices that seem too good to be true. Make sure you're buying from a reputable seller, and always double-check the coin's authenticity before you make a big purchase. It's a buyer's market, but you don't want to end up with a dud, right? All right, I've thrown a lot of info at you today, but here's the thing. Finding a 1967 no-mint mark penny isn't just about the money. It's about the thrill of the hunt. Every coin you pick up could be hiding something special, and the journey of discovering its value? Well, that's half the fun. Let's wrap this up. If you've got a pile of old pennies sitting around, don't just toss them out. Take a closer look. It might seem like a long shot, but who knows? That next penny you find could be the one that's worth a small fortune. And even if it's not, you're still part of a fascinating world where the stories behind these coins are worth their weight in gold. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more tips, tricks, and treasure hunts coming your way. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, we'll be here to guide you through the world of coins that are worth way more than their face value. Don't miss out. Subscribe for more hidden gems that might just make you rich. And hey, if you've got any 1967 no-mint mark pennies lying around, drop a comment below. Maybe you've got a gold mine sitting in your pocket right now. Until next time, happy hunting, and remember, hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Have you ever thought that the pennies in your pocket might be worth a fortune? I know it sounds like a stretch, but hear me out. Today, we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in the world of coin collecting, the 2006 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And guess what? This little copper beauty could fetch you around $2.2 million. No, that's not a typo. You might just be sitting on a gold mine and not even know it. I know. You're probably thinking, a penny? Worth millions? Is this guy for real? Trust me, I get it. I was once skeptical too, until I had an experience that changed the way I look at coins forever. Stick around, and I'll walk you through how this penny became the unicorn of coins and why you might just want to start checking your change a little more closely. All right, let's break this down. In 2006, the US Mint produced pennies with a lot of regularity. But here's where it gets interesting. Some of these pennies were struck without a mint mark. Now, normally, when you look at a coin, you'll see a little D for Denver or P for Philadelphia mint mark. But the 2006 no mint mark penny? It didn't have any of that. And you know what happens when something is rare? Yep, you guessed it. Its value skyrockets. So why exactly is this penny worth $2.2 million? Well, it's all about scarcity. When the US Mint was making these pennies, they had a mix-up in production, and a small batch of these 2006 pennies slipped through the cracks without a mint mark. Now, these aren't just any ordinary mistake. This is a legitimate error, and collectors are willing to pay a pretty penny, pun intended, to own one. But here's the thing. It's not just about having a random penny. You need to know what to look for to confirm whether you've got a 2006 no mint mark penny in your possession. First off, this penny should look just like the regular 2006 Lincoln penny, except for one crucial detail, the missing mint mark. It's easy to overlook, so take a close look at the back of the coin near the date. If there's no mint mark, then you might have just struck gold. I'll tell you, the first time I came across one of these, I almost threw it in my jar of spare change. I was sitting there, minding my business, flipping through coins when one of them caught my eye. It was a 2006 penny, but there was something off about it. No mint mark. My heart started racing. I mean, I'd heard of rare coins, but this one was the real deal. I rushed to check its value online, and I was floored. The same coin I'd almost thrown out could be worth over $2 million. Can you imagine? Now, here's where things get a little tricky. As with all rare coins, the market for the 2006 no mint mark penny is a bit finicky. The condition of the coin plays a big role in determining its value. A penny in pristine condition, without any wear and tear, will be worth far more than a well-worn one that's been bouncing around in your pocket for years. So, if you've got one that's been sitting in your collection or your spare change jar, it might be time to give it a little more attention, but don't just take my word for it. A few years back, one of these pennies sold at auction for a whopping $2.2 million. Yes, million. This isn't some vague estimate, either. This penny was in fantastic condition, and it fetched that insane price because it was a rare, highly sought-after error coin. And that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's like a treasure hunt, where sometimes you stumble across something so valuable it changes everything. Well, it means you might want to start searching through your spare change with a bit more care. If you've got a jar of pennies sitting around or a piggy bank full of old coins, it could be worth your time to sift through them. You never know. Your next find could be worth more than your CAR.SO. There you have it. The 2006 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how something that seems small and insignificant can actually be worth a small fortune. And if you've got one lying around, you might just be holding on to a $2.2 million coin. It's crazy to think about, but it's a real possibility. And I have to say, I'm still in awe that I almost let that first one slip through my fingers. Now, I don't want you to make the same mistake I almost did. Start checking your change, keep an eye out for those rare coins, and maybe even get into the world of coin collecting. You never know. The next time you're walking past that jar of pennies, you might be walking past your ticket to a big payout. And hey, if you want more tips on coins worth money, strategies for building your collection, and stories about how some people have turned their coin hoards into fortunes, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more where this came from, and I'm here to help you turn your loose change into something special. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Imagine this. You're going through a box of old pennies you found in the attic or the bottom of your junk drawer. You're about to toss them all into a jar, and then, BM, you spot something that looks a little different. A penny, but not just any penny. It's a 1994 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and little did you know, it's worth a whopping $2.3 million. No joke, that single, shiny penny could change your life. Now, before you start rummaging through every coin jar in your house, let me tell you this. Finding a penny like that is like winning the lottery. But hey, it's not totally out of the question, right? Stick around, and I'll show you why this 1994 penny is one of the most sought-after coins in the world and how you can spot one yourself. All right, so let's talk about this 1994 no mint mark penny and why it could be worth $2.3 million. First off, why is it so valuable? Well, the key here is the mint mark, or more specifically, the lack of one. In 1994, the US Mint made a ton of pennies, but they accidentally missed the mint mark on some of them. Normally, you'd expect to see the small D for Denver or P for Philadelphia on the coin, but these special pennies, they have nothing. It's like a missing puzzle piece that makes all the difference in the world. Here's where the magic happens. Coin collectors and investors, those people who know their pennies like the back of their hands, go absolutely wild for these kinds of rare coins. That tiny mistake makes the 1994 no mint mark penny one of the most coveted in the coin collecting world. People are willing to pay millions for one in pristine condition. Now, let me share a personal story with you. A few years ago, I was at a local coin show, just casually walking around, minding my business. You know, looking for a good deal, a cool coin I could add to my collection. I spot this guy at a table, holding up a small, worn-out penny. It was a 1994 penny, but it was missing the mint mark. I leaned in a little closer, trying not to act too eager, but I knew exactly what I was looking at. It was one of those coins that's worth way more than its face value. I asked the guy how much he wanted for it, and, honestly, I was hoping he'd throw out some ridiculous number so I could back off gracefully. But nope, he goes, I'll take $5 for it. I didn't know at the time that it could be worth more than $2 million. Crazy, right? A penny I grabbed for $5 could have been a major jackpot. Needless to say, I started doing some serious research, and that's how I learned just how valuable those little mistakes can be. Well, the first thing you need to do is grab any loose change lying around your house. I'm talking about that jar of coins in the kitchen, or that old wallet you haven't opened in ages. Don't be afraid to go on a coin hunting expedition. Check every penny you can get your hands on, and take note of the year. Remember, it's got to be 1994, and it must have no mint mark. If you spot one, and it looks like it hasn't been beaten up too much, you could be holding on to a small fortune. The trick is knowing how to grade the coin. 2. A 1994 no mint mark penny in mint condition, meaning it looks almost as perfect as the day it was made, can fetch upwards of $2.3 million. Of course, if it's been a little scuffed up from years of circulation, it might not hit that crazy high price tag. But hey, even a lower grade one can still get you a pretty penny, pun intended. Now, before you rush to grab all the pennies, keep in mind this isn't the only rare penny out there. The 1994 no mint mark one is special, but you've got other rare coins like the 1955 double die penny or the 1943 copper penny, which are also super valuable. The key is knowing what to look for, and that's exactly what we're here to talk about today. All right, so now you know what makes the 1994 no mint mark penny so valuable, and hopefully, you're feeling a little more excited to dive into your coin collection or hit up the next coin show. But here's the thing, finding these rare coins isn't just about luck. It's about knowledge, patience, and paying attention to those little details that make a coin worth millions. And trust me, if you keep your eyes peeled, you might just stumble upon your own jackpot. Before I go, I've got one last thing for you. If you love this kind of stuff, coins, rare finds, and strategies to build up your collection, you absolutely need to subscribe to the channel. Trust me, there's so much more to learn, and I'm here to help guide you through it all. Let's unlock the world of coins together and maybe, just maybe, find that million-dollar penny hiding in your pocket. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and join the community of coin lovers just like you. Keep hunting, keep collecting, and who knows? Hey, guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, a penny? Worth $2.4 million? Yeah, right? But hold up, I'm here to tell you that this isn't some elaborate April Fool's joke. You've got to hear this one, because I've got a coin story that will make you rethink that old change jar sitting on your dresser. If you think pennies are just, well, pennies, you might be missing out on some serious treasure. Like the 1993 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, which is, honestly, worth more than some people's entire house. Stick around, this is a story of luck, strategy, and, of course, a little bit of coin magic. All right, let's talk about the coin itself. The 1993 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a true rarity, and I'm not talking about a couple of scratched up, dirty pennies you find in your couch cushions. No, we're talking about a pristine, well-preserved coin with a little secret that makes it worth a whopping $2.4 million. Well, it's simple. In 1993, the U.S. Mint had a small but significant hiccup in their production process. Most pennies from that year were stamped with a P to indicate they were made in Philadelphia. But for a limited number of them, around a few hundred, the P didn't show up. These are known as the no mint mark pennies. And guess what? If you've got one of those, you're sitting on a potential gold mine. You might think, how in the world did I not know this? And that's exactly how I felt when I first stumbled across this coin. It's easy to overlook the simple ones, right? We're all used to digging through piles of coins looking for a rare silver dime or a worn-out buffalo nickel. But the Lincoln penny? It's sneaky. How I found my first rare coin. Let me share a little personal story here. I remember when I first got into coin collecting. It wasn't long ago. My dad gave me a jar of old coins he had stashed away, and I was sure it was just a bunch of junk. You know, those rusty old pennies, worn-out nickels, and maybe a couple of dimes that had been around since the dinosaurs. I wasn't expecting anything big. Something caught my eye. There was a penny, almost brand new looking. Now, it didn't look like anything special. No shiny gold, no unique shape. But for some reason, I felt like I should check it out. I put it under a magnifying glass, and there it was, no mint mark. Just a plain old Lincoln penny with no P stamped on it. My heart dropped. I didn't know what I was looking at yet, but I knew it was something. My first thought was, this is just a trick, right? But after doing some research and hitting up the coin forums, I realized I had stumbled upon something rare, a 1993 no mint mark penny. From that moment on, I was hooked. I realized that coin collecting was more than just about having old coins. It's about hunting for those hidden gems that could be worth more than your entire coin jar. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly makes this penny so valuable? Well, it's all about rarity. The U.S. Mint made tons of pennies in 1993, but only a small batch slipped through the cracks without the P mint mark. There are probably less than 100 in circulation today, and that's why they're worth so much. You can find Lincoln pennies from the 1990s all day long in your change, but it's extremely rare to find one without the mint mark. Think of it like finding a needle in a haystack. The 1993 no mint mark penny has become one of those legendary holy grail coins for collectors. And when you find one that's in good condition, well, that's when the $2.4 million price tag comes in. Now, let's talk about the practical stuff. How do you spot one of these rare pennies? It's easy, really. You've got to take a closer look. Get your hands on a magnifying glass or even a jeweler's loupe. You'll want to examine the reverse side of the coin, the side with the Lincoln Memorial, for those of you who don't know. Normally, you'll see the P mint mark there, right below the United States of America engraving. You've got yourself a potential gold mine. But don't just go around tossing your pennies into a drawer. You'll need to make sure it's in good condition too. A well-worn penny won't fetch as much, but one with clear details and minimal damage is a beauty. Make sure to check for any other potential errors too. Those could mean even more money. All right, guys, now you know the ins and outs of the 1993 no mint mark Lincoln penny. It's not just some old change you find under your couch cushions. It's a potential fortune. And trust me, I know how easy it is to overlook these small details when you're sorting through coins. But once you get in the groove of looking for rarities like this, it's game on. Coin collecting is an adventure, and the treasures you'll find along the way are absolutely worth it. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into rare pennies and want more tips, tricks, and strategies to discover hidden gems in your coin collection, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more valuable coin stories coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss them. So, what are you waiting for? Go check your change, and maybe that next penny will be the one that changes everything. Hey there, coin collectors. Today, we're diving into something that could make you feel like you've struck gold. Well, in this case, struck copper. Yep, I'm talking about the 2016 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, a penny? Really? Let me stop you right there. This little copper disc could be worth up to $2.5 million. That's right, you heard me, $2.5 million. So, if you've got a 2016 D penny sitting in your pocket right now, or in a jar somewhere gathering dust, you might want to grab it and check closely. You could be sitting on a fortune. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. A penny? No way. But trust me, stranger things have happened. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why that little copper coin could change your life. All right, let's break it down. You're probably wondering, what makes the 2016 D penny so special? I mean, it's just a regular penny, right? Well, not quite. There's a reason this penny has earned the nickname the $1 million copper. To understand the value of this penny, you've got to know the history behind it. First off, the D mint mark on the 2016 penny means it was minted in Denver. Now, this may seem like standard info, but here's where things get interesting. A small error in the production process created a unique variation, making this penny worth a small fortune. And when I say small, I mean the coin size, because it's still a penny. But its value? Let's just say you wouldn't want to drop it in a vending machine. Let me give you a bit of backstory. It all started when the U.S. Mint made some very specific decisions about the design of the 2016 penny. While most pennies are your typical run-of-the-mill copper with a few scratches and dings from being in circulation, the 2016 D. Lincoln penny came out with some very rare characteristics. Some of these pennies had unique characteristics on the Lincoln Memorial side of the coin, as well as the obverse, where Lincoln's portrait sits. There were some very tiny, almost unnoticeable errors that a regular person might miss, but a trained eye? That's where the magic happens. Good question. The first thing to do is check the condition. If your 2016 D penny is in near mint or mint condition, you could be in luck. These pennies need to have sharp details, a clean design, and minimal wear and tear. The more pristine it is, the higher its value. But here's the kicker. Even if your penny isn't in perfect condition, it still could fetch a pretty penny, pun intended, because that's where the value really jumps up. While millions of 2016 D pennies were made, only a very small number of them had this specific error. That means the ones that made it through the mint's quality control and into your pocket could be worth a fortune. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, but a needle that'll make you rich. The rarity factor is key here. Let me share a quick story with you. I remember digging through a coin jar at home a few years ago, just casually looking for a rare coin. Nothing too serious, just a fun little hobby. My wife thought I was going mad, but then I found a penny, an old 1970s penny. It wasn't worth a ton, but I remember thinking, what if this was the one? It wasn't, of course. But that feeling of excitement when you think you found something valuable? Yeah, it's like that every time you go through your change. The 2016 D penny could be your one. The big payoff comes when you find one of these pennies that has the error and it's graded in near perfect condition. Grading is a huge part of the coin world. You've probably heard of coin grading before, and if not, here's a crash course. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. For a penny to be worth millions, it has to be practically flawless, meaning no signs of wear or damage. If your 2016 D penny lands somewhere in the 65 to 70 range, then you've got yourself a serious investment. If you do find one of these precious pennies, what should you do? First off, don't just run off to the nearest pawn shop or coin dealer and sell it. Get it professionally graded by a trusted service like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. They'll evaluate your penny's condition and assign it a grade. Once you've got that certificate of authenticity, it's time to get it into the hands of serious collectors, where it could fetch anywhere from a few $1,000s to the jaw-dropping $2.5 million price tag. That's right, people are actually out there paying top dollar for these coins, and with good reason. They're rare, they're valuable, and they've got that historical charm. Don't overlook your change. That penny you've been ignoring might be worth way more than you think. And even if you don't have one of these rare 2016 D pennies, it's always good to keep an eye out for other valuable coins. There are so many hidden gems out there, and it doesn't take much to start discovering them. If you're serious about coin collecting and want to stay ahead of the game, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. I've got tons more tips, tricks, and coin hunting strategies up my sleeve. And who knows, the next video could be the one where you learn about the next big coin worth millions. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. So, hit that subscribe button, share this video with your fellow coin lovers, and let's keep finding those hidden treasures together. Who knows, maybe you'll be the next millionaire coin collector. Until next time, happy hunting, and keep that penny jar close. Hey, what's up, coin collectors and curious folks? You ever look at a penny and think, wow, this could be worth a small fortune? Well, if you've got a 1979 D. Abraham Lincoln penny hanging around, you might just have a gold mine on your hands. I know, pennies don't exactly scream big money, but trust me, this one will make you do a double take. Now, before you grab that jar of loose change from your drawer and start searching frantically, let me tell you a little secret. Not all 1979 D pennies are created equal. In fact, this specific one is so rare, it's got a current market value of around $2.6 million. Yup, you heard me right, $2.6 million. So, stick around because by the end of this video, you might just be eyeing your coins with a new perspective. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I drop knowledge on coins worth big bucks all the time. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Alright, let's dive into why this little copper circle is worth so much and how you might be holding on to a fortune without even knowing it. Let's start with a little background. The 1979 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, which is where that D mint mark comes in. Now, the cool part, this penny isn't special just because it's from 1979 or because it's in relatively good condition. Oh no, that would be way too easy. The value lies in one very specific error that occurred during the minting process. You see, this penny was supposed to be struck with a certain design and certain details, but some of the coins got a little extra from the minting process. We're talking about a double die error, meaning that the image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side of the penny got struck twice, creating a double image effect. It's like if you ever tried to stamp a design on a piece of paper and accidentally pressed it down again before the first impression had time to dry. You end up with a blurry, double-printed design. Well, that's essentially what happened with this penny, and it's a huge deal for collectors. Now, let's pause for a moment. Can you imagine this? You're sitting at your kitchen table, flipping through some old pennies, maybe from your granddad's collection or that jar of loose change you've been holding on to since college. And you come across this little gem, a 1979 D. Lincoln penny, thinking it's just like the others. You don't even realize that with a quick glance, you've got a coin that could change your life forever. Here's a little personal story of mine to really hit home on this. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my grandma's attic, you know, the one with the dust that's probably older than most of us. As I was going through boxes of old knickknacks, I stumbled across a jar filled with pennies, all from the 70s. I thought, hey, maybe there's a rare one in here. I tossed a couple of them in the air, like some kind of coin-flipping wizard, and kept looking, not thinking much of it. Fast forward a couple of weeks, I decide to dig deeper into those coins. I grab a magnifying glass, because, yeah, I need one now, and I start inspecting them. And there it was, a 1979 penny with a noticeable double image. My heart started racing. I did what any normal person would do in that situation. I Googled it. Turns out, I'd stumbled upon a coin that was worth potentially thousands of dollars. That coin ended up being worth about $10,000. That whole experience was a wake-up call for me. If I'd thrown those pennies in a drawer and forgotten about them, I would have missed out on a small fortune. And that's exactly what might be happening right now with some of you. You could be holding on to something worth millions and not even realize it.so. How do you know if you've got a 1979 D penny that could be worth $2.6 million? Well, there are a few things to look for. The most important factor is that double die error we talked about earlier. You'll want to closely inspect the image of Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front of the coin. If you see that the image of Lincoln appears doubled or blurry in certain spots, you might be sitting on a potential gold mine. Pro tip: the best way to check for these errors is with a high-quality magnifying glass or a loupe. Don't rely on your naked eye. Trust me, it's easy to miss the fine details. Take a good, close look at the date, Lincoln's chin, and the letters in Liberty. If anything looks off, you could be in business. Also, the condition of the coin plays a big role in how much it's worth. The higher the grade, the more valuable the penny. You want your 1979 D double die penny to be in mint condition if you hope to get top dollar. But even a penny with minor wear could still fetch a nice chunk of change, anywhere from a few thousand to a couple of $100,000, depending on the grade. Don't sweat it. You don't need to be a coin expert to spot this penny. Just start by getting familiar with what you're looking for and take the time to check your coins. If you happen to find a 1979 D double die error penny and you're lucky enough to have it in high grade, you're looking at a coin worth potentially millions. It's worth checking out the latest auctions or contacting a trusted coin dealer for an official evaluation. I can't tell you how many collectors I've spoken to who've had their entire collections appraised and ended up being shocked at the results. D Lincoln penny could be hiding in your collection right now, just waiting to make you a millionaire. It all comes down to spotting those key errors and knowing what you're looking for. I want you to remember this. Never underestimate a coin just because it's small or seems insignificant. That penny might be small, but its value could be huge. Before you go grabbing your jar of pennies and searching for that golden ticket, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications for more awesome tips on valuable coins you might have lying around. And if you like this video, share it with your friends and family. Who knows, maybe they've got a 1979 D penny just sitting in their drawer, too. All right, I'm out. Start flipping those coins, and who knows, maybe next time I'll be hearing about your million-dollar find. Catch you later, and happy hunting. Hey, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Did you know there's a penny out there worth more than most people's entire car collection? No, I'm not talking about a golden penny or some magical artifact. I'm talking about the 1986 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You might have one sitting around in your collection, and if so, you could be sitting on a cool $2.7 million. Yes, you heard that right, $2.7 million for a penny. Let that sink in for a second. But don't start rushing to the couch cushions just yet. In today's video, we're going to break down why this penny is worth a fortune, how to spot one, and most importantly, how you can cash in if you've got one. So grab your magnifying glass, settle in, and let's get into the amazing world of rare coins. Why is this 1986 no-mint mark penny worth so much? Well, it all comes down to a little thing called minting error. You see, every coin made in the US typically has a mint mark that tells you where it was made. You've got the famous D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and the P for Philadelphia. But here's the kicker. Some pennies minted in 1986 were supposed to have a mint mark, but due to a minting mistake, were produced without one dot. And when I say mistake, I'm not talking about dropping your toast on the floor and saying oops kind of mistake. No, this was a huge error that wasn't discovered until much later. The lack of a mint mark made this penny incredibly rare, and as you know, rarity is what drives up a coin's value. It's like finding a limited edition baseball card or a misprinted dollar bill. It's the stuff of collector dreams. But here's where it gets even crazier. While most of the 1986 pennies were minted in the Philadelphia Mint and are pretty common, these no-mint mark versions are a completely different story. You'd be surprised at how much collectors and investors are willing to pay for just one of these rare gems. The $2.7 million price tag comes from just how scarce they are, and let me tell you, they don't pop up every day. Now, let's talk about how you can spot one. This isn't something you're going to find just lying around in a bowl of change. First, Check the year. You need to make sure it's from 1986. Then, inspect the coin closely. If it has no mint mark under the date, boom, you've got something special. But before you start calling up your local coin dealer or preparing to get on TV with your newfound fortune, keep in mind that not every 1986 penny without a mint mark is going to be worth millions. They need to be in excellent condition, ideally uncirculated or even in mint condition, for collectors to see the value. And here's a personal story. I remember the first time I heard about coins being worth millions. I thought it was a myth. I mean, who would have guessed that something as simple as a penny could hold such insane value? One time, I was at a flea market, just browsing, when I overheard a guy talking about finding a rare coin. I laughed it off, thinking it was just another, "I found treasure in my backyard" type of story. But it stuck with me, and soon enough, I found myself going through my old change jar, hoping to stumble upon a hidden fortune. Well, no $2.7 million penny, but I did find some coins that were worth more than I thought. So that got me hooked on coin hunting for good. So, if you're wondering, could I be sitting on a gold mine? The answer might be yes, but it's all about knowing what to look for. Now, let's talk about selling your 1986 no mint mark penny if you've got one. First, don't just run to eBay and slap it up for sale. You'll want to get it authenticated by a professional coin grader to ensure you're not selling a regular penny for millions. If your penny is in top-notch condition and has been graded well, you're in the money. You can either sell it privately through a trusted auction house or get in touch with a reputable coin dealer. Just be sure you're not being lowballed. The 1986 no mint mark penny is a treasure worth keeping an eye out for. Whether you've got one already or you're now scouring your change jar like I did, it's always exciting to think about the potential value hidden in those little coins we often overlook. And hey, if you've ever thought that coin collecting was just about dusty old pennies or dimes in your pocket, this should definitely give you a new perspective on the hobby. Before we wrap things up, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Why? Because we're diving deep into the world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and how you can start finding coins that are worth serious cash. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow coin hunters. Who knows? You might just help someone else find a $2.7 million penny. Hey there, treasure hunters and pocket change pros. Let me ask you something. What if I told you that one single penny, yeah, that tiny copper coin that most people ignore on the sidewalk, could actually be worth $2.8 million? Yeah, you heard that right. 1 cent. 2.8 million bucks. I don't know about you, but if that doesn't make you want to dig through your couch cushions and raid the coin jar by the fridge, I don't know what will. Today we're diving into the world of the legendary 1985 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. A coin that's quietly made its way into American coin folklore and has recently exploded in value. And if you stick around, I'll tell you why this coin is special, how to spot it, and the story of the time I almost threw away a coin worth thousands. Spoiler alert, I almost cried. So grab your magnifying glass, dump out that spare change, and let's go on a penny hunt that might just change your life. All right, let's break it down. The 1985 Lincoln penny was just like every other penny in most people's eyes. Good Honest Abe on the front, Lincoln Memorial on the back. Nothing flashy. No diamonds. No fireworks. Just a penny doing penny things. But here's the kicker. Most of the 1985 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. The Denver ones have a D mint mark. San Francisco has an S. And Philadelphia? Well, here's where it gets interesting. Back in the day, Philly didn't always put a mint mark on their coins. So a 1985 penny with no mint mark would normally be from Philly and wouldn't raise any eyebrows. You see, one special batch of these 1985 no mint mark Lincoln pennies had a freak minting error. Some experts believe a unique die was used, and it resulted in pennies that were ever so slightly off in design. We're talking tiny details in Abe's jacket, the spacing of the letters, or even doubling in certain parts of the coin. Well, it all comes down to rarity and condition. If a coin is rare and has an error that only a few people caught, and it's in mint or near mint condition, boom, it becomes a collector's dream. And when collectors start dreaming, the prices go way up. The most pristine example of this 1985 no mint mark Lincoln penny recently sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $2.8 million. That's not a typo. $2,800,000. For a penny. Let that sink in while I sip my regular people coffee that I bought with regular people coins. Okay, let me tell you about the time I almost lost a fortune. A few years ago, I was cleaning out the glove compartment of my old pickup truck. Found a bunch of napkins, a stale granola bar, and a handful of coins. Just tossed the coins in my pocket and went about my day. Later that night, I dumped the change in a vending machine to grab a soda. But something about one of those pennies caught my eye. It looked shinier than the rest. I actually pulled it out of the return slot just to look at it again. No mint mark. Lincoln looked a little funny. The spacing on "In God We Trust" felt a bit off, but I thought, nah, it's just my imagination. And guess what I did? I put it right back into the machine and hit the button for root beer. I've been kicking myself ever since. Every time I think about it, I see that soda and wonder if it cost me $2.8 million. I should have bought a microscope instead. First, look for a 1985 penny with no mint mark. Flip it over. Check for doubling, especially on the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Use a magnifying glass if you've got one, or even your phone camera with zoom. Second, check the condition. A coin that's scratched up or worn down might still be cool, but it won't get you millions. The highest value coins are graded by pros and are in near perfect condition. That means no fingerprints, no scratches, no chewing gum stuck to it. You get the idea. Third, if you think you've got a winner, don't take it to your corner gas station. You need a professional appraisal. Reach out to a certified coin dealer or send it to a grading company like PCGS or NGC. They'll give you the scoop on whether you've struck gold or copper. And here's a fun tip. Go through your family's old change jars. You'd be surprised how often these gems are sitting in grandma's kitchen drawer right next to the birthday candles and soy sauce packets. Let's talk about why the value of this coin keeps climbing. First, rarity drives price. There just aren't that many of these error pennies floating around in top condition. Second, demand is growing. More and more people are getting into coin collecting, especially since the internet made it easy to learn, trade, and sell. Plus, stories like this give hope to all of us that maybe, just maybe, there's a small fortune sitting right under our noses. So there you have it. The 1985 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a plain old copper coin that's now worth $2.8 million. It's the Cinderella of pocket change, the underdog story of the coin world. And hey, even if you don't find the golden goose of pennies today, who knows what you'll stumble across tomorrow? A nickel worth thousands? A dime that's rarer than a Bigfoot sighting? If this kind of treasure hunt excites you, hit that subscribe button and join the ride. I've got tons more tips, stories, and strategies for finding coins worth serious money. You never know. Your next trip to the laundromat might just make you a millionaire. So get out there, check your change, and remember, sometimes the best investments are hiding in your junk drawer. Hey there, folks. Stop what you're doing and check your pocket change, because that old copper-colored penny you've been ignoring could be worth more than your car. Heck, maybe even your house. That's right. Today we're diving into one little coin that's turning heads and stacking stacks, the 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny. And hang on to your seats because this baby has fetched up to $2.9 million in the collector's market. Yeah, you heard that right. Not $29. Not $29,000. We're talking $2.9 million bucks. From a penny. Imagine flipping through your change jar, looking for some spare laundry money, and pulling out a coin that could change your life. That's not just coin collecting. That's a rags to riches Cinderella story with copper shoes. Now, let me tell you why this coin is so special, how you can spot one, and how I once almost threw one away. True story. So grab your coffee, kick back, and let's get into it. It's a 1-cent coin from the good old US of A, struck at the Philadelphia Mint. And here's the kicker, Philadelphia didn't use a mint mark at that time, so the coin just looks like your standard issue penny. Nothing flashy. No silver shine. No neon lights screaming, "I'm worth millions." Just Abe Lincoln, chillin' like he always does. Now, what makes this particular coin worth nearly $3 million? It's all in the error. That's right. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being messed up in just the right way. Kinda like your favorite uncle who says weird stuff at Thanksgiving, but somehow everyone loves him. The 1984 penny has what collectors call a double die error. That means during the minting process, the design on the coin got stamped twice but slightly misaligned. The most famous doubling shows up in Lincoln's ear. It looks like he's got a ghost ear trying to escape his head. I mean, if your ear looked like that, you'd probably see a doctor. But in the coin world, that's a golden ticket. Now, here's the wild part. These coins were mass-produced. So while the error isn't common, it's also not impossible to find. There are still a handful out there floating around, sitting in coin jars, under couch cushions, maybe even hiding in one of those giant water jugs people use as a piggy bank. All right. So let me tell you about the time I almost threw away what could have been a six-figure coin. A few years back, I was cleaning out the garage. I found this dusty old coffee can full of loose change. It had been sitting there for who knows how long. I almost dumped the whole thing in a Coinstar machine at the grocery store. But something told me, hold up. Check those pennies. Now, mind you, I wasn't a coin nerd at the time. I just remembered hearing about an old penny that was worth money. So I sat there on my garage floor, surrounded by spider webs and the smell of motor oil, squinting at penny after penny. And what do I find? A 1984 penny with a weird-looking ear. I swear I heard angelic music play. I ran inside, pulled up a photo online, compared it, and yep, it looked just like the doubled ear variety. My hands were shaking. I sent it off to be graded. Now, mine wasn't mint condition. It had seen some things, lived a rough life in that coffee can. But it still got graded as an error coin and sold for a few $1,000s. So if you're thinking, this stuff only happens to other people, I'm here to tell you, no, it doesn't. It can happen to you, too. If you've got a jar of coins or an old piggy bank, you might be sitting on a gold mine. Let's talk tips. First, check the date. It's got to say 1984. No mint mark under the date means it came from Philadelphia, which is exactly what we want. Next, take a close look at Lincoln's ear. If it looks like he's got a second ear hiding behind the first one, bingo. That's the double die. You can use a magnifying glass or even one of those clip-on phone microscopes. Trust me, it makes it feel like a treasure hunt. And in a way, it is. Also, make sure it's not just a damaged coin. You want clear, raised doubling, not a weird dent or scratch. There are tons of online guides and pictures that can help you compare. Now, if you think you've got a match, don't just throw it on eBay and hope for the best. Get it graded by a professional coin grading service. That's how you really unlock the value. The highest auction prices are for coins in pristine condition, like mint state or better. We're talking coins that look like they were just pulled off the press yesterday. These are rare, no doubt about it. But they exist. And collectors will pay serious cash to add one to their stash. Even lower grade ones can bring in hundreds or thousands, depending on the level of doubling and the overall condition. Think about that. You could pull a penny from your couch cushions and trade it for a down payment on a house. That's the kind of math I can get behind. So there you have it, my fellow treasure hunters. The 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny might look like just another brown coin, but it's got superstar potential. And all it takes is a sharp eye, a little patience, and maybe a magnifying glass from the dollar store. Before you rush off to dig through your coin jar, do me a solid. Hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips on rare coins, how to spot valuable errors, and strategies to turn your pocket change into a paycheck. We're building a whole community of folks who know the value of what's hiding in plain sight. Don't miss out. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Who knows, maybe the next $1 million coin is sitting in your drawer right now.